Mario International Inc., presented to Stephanie Linartz, the president, and Anthony Capuano, the chief executive officer, from Matthew Gillets, Evstradios Junior Chrysofoudis, Niloy Duta, Alexandra Will, and Christian Boz.
So we're going to begin by talking to you about the industry analysis. And what we found is that individuals use a wide variety of online services in the age of technology today. And with that comes the greater chance of data breaches and hacks. For example, we found that a Chinese intelligence gathering group that's affiliated with China's Communist Spy Agency infiltrated Marriott's data servers in 2018. And with that, they were able to gain access to over 500 million customers' personal information. After this data breach occurred, there were many customers that filed complaints because they weren't happy to have their personal information exposed, as no one would be, because nobody wants your personal information to be leaked to anyone. It is suspected that this data breach is a possible result as an act of revenge for President Trump targeting trade policies with China. With that being said, we have now seen that political conflicts are merged within the hospitality industry. And as a result of this, there is now an increase in cyber terrorism and hacking today. So to counter these data breaches, we have composed 4 recommendations that we think Marriott should follow. The first one would be to continuously update their internal software while using high-grade encryption software such as AES. The second recommendation that we have is to educate their technician employees on new security practices involving the use of AES. Thirdly, we want to ensure that customers use stronger passwords that cannot be easily guessed, and that they use 2-factor authentication so that it is harder for anyone to gain access to their passwords and their information. And our last recommendation is to ensure that the company has a strong privacy policy and that employees will never share the personal information of customers.
So, how does advanced encryption software work? In essence, before one can ascertain how this specific type of technology works and operates, it is imperative that one will fundamentally comprehend what this specific technology entails. So in essence, Advanced Encryption Standard is also known as AES. It is a high-grade encryption software that is used by federal governments across the globe to protect highly confidential data and information from external hackers and breaches. It is extremely beneficial to these large entities. But as with any technology, there are certain drawbacks that come about when using it. For instance, AES uses simplified algebraic structures. It does not use any type of complex algebraic structure. Secondly, it is difficult to install certain types of software into specific types of computerized systems. It really depends on the computerized system that it is being installed into. And lastly, although it is not prone to small, moderate, or large attacks, it is vulnerable to ferocious intrusion on a grand scale. We're referring to extremely large-scale attacks. The technology, as mentioned prior, is used by governments across the globe. However, certain federal governments have actually been handing down this type of technology to large companies, corporations, and organizations, both within the private and public sector, especially in the USA. Now, the cost and expenditure for AES to install it varies depending on the context. It is extremely context-driven because it depends on the type of hack that has occurred, the type of computerized system that is attacked, who the hackers are, etc. Now, the average cost for a large corporation or company or organization to install this type of technology, the average cost would be about $2 million. Now, although this might seem like an expensive figure, it would actually be very beneficial because Mario owns 8,484 hotels worldwide in 139 countries. Protective measures will have to be taken into account. And it is equally important that employees are trained to use AES technology. Unfortunately, we were unable to find specific figures tailored to Mario's hotel chains. However, on a national scale, in terms of a generic view, the average employer in 2021 in the United States of America spent $1,071 to train each individual employee. Now, although all of these solutions are tailored to North America, specifically Canada and the United States of America, it is equally important for Mario to protect all of its hotels within the hotel chain. So, how can AES technology benefit us? Although there are multiple ways that this technology could be incorporated to benefit different types of organization, including Mario, a plethora of different ways exist. There are three main points that I would like to highlight. Firstly, advanced encryption software can be commissioned for password encryptions. Now, this is done to secure configuration files and properties files in terms of the server environment, and the process is always enhanced with the use of a strong and lengthy password. Secondly, IBM uses 256-bit AES algorithm keys to encrypt that data. And furthermore, the same AES algorithm is used right now by the United States government. However, they use three key lengths because they need to ensure additional protective measures as they are a larger entity. And lastly, the US government, as mentioned several times already, uses AES technology to protect highly confidential information on a national scale. And if a powerful country like the United States of America utilizes this technology to prevent attacks from external hackers, then other companies and governments should also feel safe in using this high-grade encryption software.
To summarize what we have just explained, we want the following four actions to take place. Firstly, we want to ensure that AES is constantly updated on Marriott's internal computerized software using fortified encryption. Secondly, we want to ensure that any tech employee that is newly hired will be explicitly trained through a 9-month AES software course. That is an intensive course. Thirdly, we want to make sure that all of our clients update their passwords and make them stronger passwords, as well as use two-factor authentication, as we believe that this would reduce the chance of their personal information being hacked and then being leaked. Lastly, we want to update the company's privacy policy to make sure that any employee that shares customers' personal information will have severe consequences, as this is strictly prohibited.
So, hello everyone. Today I'm going to start talking about the background of Marriott International. So, Marriott International is a multinational hospitality company that operates, franchises, and licenses lodging, especially hotels. The company was founded almost 100 years ago in 1927 by J. Williams Marriott and his wife Alice Marriott in Washington, D.C. The whole business began with an A&W root beer stand where the owners would serve good food as well as good service, which further on became a guideline for Marriott International as a group. The company made a memorable shift in the hotel industry in 1957 as they opened the world's first motel in Arlington, Virginia, under the management of Bill Marriott, who over the next 25 years became a visionary CEO whose ideas and management completely revolutionized the hospitality industry. Its current headquarters currently reside in Bethesda, Maryland, USA. So the company is very well known to have a legacy of putting people first, which means taking care of their family, owners, and their employees. It would mean that this would lead to a great experience for their guests that would stay over in their properties. In addition, by doing so, they create solid returns for their owners and franchises, providing outstanding career opportunities for their partners. So next, I'm going to be talking about the industry Marriott International operates in. So Marriott International is a very well-rooted multinational American company that is specialized in hospitality and lodging. They offer the most powerful portfolio in the hospitality industry, as they have 30 different brands across 139 countries throughout more than 8,000 properties. This gives them a way of keeping their guests connected almost everywhere they go around the world, as well as offering them many, many different and amazing experiences. So Marriott International owns about 1% of the hotels that belong in their portfolio. So instead of owning the other 99%, the company holds management agreements with the properties and ensure the Marriott name to the franchisees. So innovation is a very big part of the company's structure as they continuously focus on trying to find inventive ways to serve their customers, open up possibilities for associates, as well as grow their business with their owners in all corners of the globe. They use innovations through new brands and amazing guest solutions, as well as always being on top of technology and design in those new brands. So throughout the years, Marriott International has come up with a handful of strategies that would always keep them in front of the competition. Their most known strategy would be the spirit to serve our community, also known as Serve 360, which is based on four main ideas that are nurture, sustain, empower, and welcome. They see the strategy as a way to tackle the world's most pressing social, environmental, and economic issues, as they deem that they have a global responsibility to be a force for good. The main goal of the strategy is to create a productive, helpful, as well as sustainable impact wherever they do business. So, Marriott International is also extremely attached to diversity and inclusion, for which is fundamental to its core values as well as its strategic business goals. They have a precise vision when it comes to diversity and inclusion, which stands upon three main ideas: to feel good about themselves, their workplace, and the company's role in society. So customer service is incredibly important aspect in the hospitality industry. To keep operating in the hospitality industry and stay ahead of the other competitors, companies in the hospitality industry must provide excellent customer service to drive revenue growth. Um, After all, the main source of income from providing services to customers. Any negative customers review can affect the company in the long run and lose to its competitors. Hence, Marriott International has several ideas in terms of customer service to keep their customers as well as to reinforce the bond that they have with their existing customers. So the Marriott is based on a strong customer service idea, where one of their main points of view is if a mistake is handled well, it can create a stronger bond with the customer, meaning that the way you handle a problem can determine if a customer comes back or not. It is not only resolving an issue that matters, but the way it is dealt with it. Problems are truly an opportunity to show customers how good you are. Thank you.
So, the scope of our work. All work will cover Marriott's external communications factor, since we're touching on a data breach affecting the clients. We will be in charge of fulfilling the client's needs in a way that repairs the damage suffered and persuades the clients to keep doing business with Marriott Hotels in the future. We will also cover new costs the company will have to consider to fix the issue and the time frame required for the fix. Now, let's get into the costs of hiring. There will be a substantial increase in costs associated with the issue we've selected, since our mission is to solve the problem caused by the data breach and use that opportunity to regain our clientele's trust. So let's talk about the communication costs. The data breach impacted many clients negatively. Now it's time to reach out to those clients by email, phone, mail, and apologize for the situation, but also reassure them that Marriott Hotels have already undertaken the necessary measures to make sure that nothing of the sort will ever happen again. Since the data breach affected 500 million people, new employees are needed to reach out to that massive customers. New communication costs will depend on the number of hours Marriott Hotel International employees work and the number of new employees hired. Now, legal costs. There has been a $450 million class action lawsuit filed against Marriott Hotels in Canada to financially compensate the users affected by the breach. The case was dismissed without any consequences for Marriott. However, Marriott Hotels had to factor in new costs to hire lawyers for defense in court. In the UK, Merit was fined $23.8 million for not meeting the cybersecurity requirements and agreed to pay customer passport replacement. Now, cybersecurity costs. So, Marriott hotels will need to improve their cybersecurity and hire cybersecurity experts to help them protect themselves and their clientele's information. There's no way to know exactly how much money is to be spent to prevent the issue, but we can compare Marriott International to other companies that experience similar issues. SolarWinds, for example, a software company, reported that it had to spend about $19 million since the attack to fix the problems that enabled the breach. Therefore, Marriott can expect to spend a minimum amount of $20 million since it is a much larger enterprise. Now let's talk about marketing costs. So following the data breach, clients will be less likely to return to Marriott hotels in the future, and first-timers are less likely to choose Marriott as an option. Therefore, the firm should invest in advertising their hotels online, in magazines, on social media, and billboards to make up for the lost clients and to convince the existing ones to come back. In 2019, Marriott spent $239 million on ads, representing 1.1% of their revenue that year, which is not a lot. However, they should dedicate a larger part of their budget to marketing in the future to attract clients. Let's talk about new technology costs. So now that many people work remotely, improving technological infrastructures at the hotel, such as the internet connection, the appliances available in the hotel, and working areas could attract new customers who look to work remotely while traveling. It's hard to associate a cost to this change, but this is an easy and cheap change as they simply need to improve the connection and to add a work desk in the hotel room, making this an excellent value investment. Last but not least, let's talk about insurance costs. Nowadays, cyber insurance is a must for companies operating online and manipulating personal data. Cyber insurance protects against data breaches and can help retrieve stolen information. It is unclear how much insurance coverage Marriott had at the time of the breach, but they were able to cut their expenses related to the breach from $28 million to $1 million with cyber insurance. Marriott should invest more money into cyber insurance to get more protection for future occurrences or limit those future occurrences.
Marriott International's biggest issue in current years is that they're failing to ensure the safety of their customers' data because of weak cybersecurity problems. In 2016, a group of hackers have claimed to have taken over 20 gigabytes of information from 500 million customers following the Marriott Starwood acquisition. Later in 2020, Marriott reported yet another data breach that affected over 5 million customers. The information that were taken from those data breaches were qualitative preferences about customers, such as their room numbers, types of food they like, types of services that they like. Also, their credit card information were stolen and many other informations. Now, if this continues, Marriott is at risk of losing potential market shares. They're going to see a decrease in share prices, loss on consumer confidence, and also monetary damages from lawsuits. Now, our methods to analyze the external communication channels that were used by Marriott International for those data breaches, we will essentially look at qualitative data such as chart tables, surveys, to look if there's like a decrease in customer satisfaction or a decrease in revenue growth. Furthermore, we will look at news outlets, social medias, and business articles to look at their response or their reaction following those data breaches. Now, here's what we found for our analysis on the external communication for the data breaches. Now, our analysis indicates that Marriott has failed to execute their vision and their mission statement. Marriott's vision was to become the world's favorite travel company, and their mission statement was to enhance the lives of their customers by creating and enabling unsurpassed vacation and leisure experiences. Marriott International has also violated a fundamental key value that all businesses should have, which is to protect the data of their customers. Now, in 2018, when Marriott International reported that data breach of 2016, where almost 20 gigabytes of information was stolen from 500 million customers, their share market prices fell 5.59% immediately. Also later, government agencies and cybersecurity experts have criticized Marriott not only for their weak cybersecurity issues, but also for the retention of the type of retention of data that they're retaining in their servers. So essentially, they're criticizing that Marriott International should not have qualitative preferences in their service. Now, in 2020, Marriott International has reported another data breach that affected over 5 million customers. They sent out an emails to all those customers. And as a result, at the end, we found out that customer satisfaction decreased in those years that they reported a data breach. So as you could see, the customer satisfaction index for United States in 2018, when they announced the data breach scandal about 2016, from 2018 to 2019, they decreased by 1 point from 81 to 80. And in 2020, when they reported another data breach, from 2020 to 2021, you could see it dropped from 80 to 76. Now, our solution and time frame. Now, I believe that Marriott International should send an email or a mail of acknowledgement with a sincere apology. But this time, Marriott International should provide resources to help or compensate the loss. Essentially, before, what they did is they sent an email or a mail of acknowledgement to all those affected, but did not provide any information on what type of data were stolen, and essentially all the customers were left out in the dark. This time, they should provide resources, maybe establish a helpline to connect with the customers and tell them more information about the data breach, about what kind of informations were stolen, and also potentially having to compensate the loss. Now, the company should also implement and update new policies, and they should show it on their website. Those new policies should indicate types of changes that they have made regarding the types of retention of data that they're having over their customers. They should also advertise a new management system or a new management team on online advertisement, magazines, commercials, just to let all the stakeholders or all the affected customers know that they are taking this issue very seriously and that they're committed to change, just to regain their customers' trust back again. Now, unfortunately, I think it's going to take up to 3 to 5 years to see the benefits of such changes, because gaining customers' trust or gaining even reputation is not earned overnight. Therefore, I think in recent years, all those controversies that they had, it won't be taken lightly. So unfortunately, in 3 to 5 years, if there's no more controversies and they could rightfully advertise to everybody that knows about those issues about Marriott, that they have implemented such changes, I think that people would regain trust and Marriott would reap the benefits of it. Thank you.